Hello, Next Geners. Welcome to our Friday form preview. It's the second day of the Sydney Championships. Not a bad day last week, Hayden. Nature Strip, just too good, off a pretty steady tempo. And we probably were keen on Masked Crusader each way, thinking if Nature Strip and Eduardo busted each other up, he'd be the one flying over the top. Perhaps a little bit unlucky, but I don't think he was beating Nature Strip off that race pace. And then we had Cascadian in our numbers, and a fair performance by Jamie Carr to take her form over to Sydney and win on a horse that hadn't won since the Doncaster Prelude last year.
Isn't she just a star? Isn't she just, we've been pretty much since we started this podcast, we've just been singing the praises of Miss Jamie Carr from the start, and thoroughly deserved, excellent ride, inch perfect ride to win Group 1 Doncaster. And the boy, Nature Strip, that was as equally impressive ride from James McDonald there aboard the speed machine, who found himself going 4.8 lengths below benchmark through the first section. And from there, it was pretty much game over with a 8-length squeeze through the mid-race, asking, horses like Masked Crusader and Zutori, etc., to produce squeezes in the 11-12 length margin and rattle home off that. There's some, little bit of news during the week regarding the Hawks camp. I think they're a little bit disgruntled with the ride from Aaron. Yeah, but, it's just one of those things. The birds, well before the straight, it's probably game over. James McDonald with the checkmate move. Eduardo always had the form line there that he could drop off data-wise, which he did. And it was just a case of an exceptional front-running ride from J-Mac and two very exciting horses. I think this, in particular, the second horse, he's going to be a mighty exciting horse going into the spring. So, he's always had the hype. But let's see where he could get to. I'm still convinced we haven't seen the absolute best of him as yet, and he's got a 5-figure to his name. So very, very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think he's only had 13 starts to his name, already a Group 1 winner. And if you play the 10 to win, 40 the place, then you make profits on horses like that, don't you? Horses, some of the other horses like Bivouac, you would sort of mention, perhaps he looked like he had his mind on other things. I think that's him done off to stud. But we constantly say on this podcast, if you just work around the best horses in the race, you can make some money. And Nature Strip, I think, ran a +5 to win that race last year, and he went to a similar number to do it again this year. And then Cascadian had that +5 number running second in the Cantala in the spring, and he didn't need to go to that number, but he just got the perfect ride behind Mugatu, who was drawn I think one on his inside or one on his outside. Jamie Carr just sat on the back, and Mugatu carted Cascadian into the race, and it was game over. But let's have a look at this card. It's a tricky little card. I've just posted up on Facebook that we'll any comments, fire them through, and we'll get towards the end of the podcast, and I can fire them off at you. But race 1, not one that really jumps out as a massive betting race. It's a listed 2-year-old race. Converge is a $2.30 favourite. Morris is me dad, $3.50. Algaron is $5. Akahata, is $5, and it's $15 the rest.
Yeah, as usual for the first race, we plot a course to have our lunch somewhere around this time. We've got a series of horses here. We've got below benchmark data, which aren't races that I typically like to get involved in unless I see something that clearly jumps out. Maurice's my dad's last start at Hawkesbury was good. Clearly get the mile and can elevate past a benchmark level. It's somewhere in and around the mix. No knock horse like Converge, who should be able to control the race from the front. Looks like it's got an elevation in it. No knock, especially Algaron. Not a race that I'm keen to get involved in.
All right, race 2, 3-year-old listed race. Ellsberg, $3.10 favourite. Private Eye, $4. Rainbow Connection, $7.50. Acrophobic, $9. Yardstick for the Gay Waterhouse team, $9.50. Holyfield, $12 and $15 the rest.
Interesting race, tough race, very compressed races, you know, over the spread of the whole field. There's as little as 2 lengths between them, so that makes it a dangerous betting race. Those better performed horses like Holyfield, etc., there's some little queries surrounding those. Private Eye is a horse who I have an interest in here. His performance, Rose Hill, 16th of the first, was solid. That was his last go on real genuine dry ground. He looks like a dry tracker, and if that track races in the G4 range, which it should, he's going to get his opportunity to replicate that style of figure, which will put him right in the top 3. So he's the only horse that I've got an interest in at all. Out of that lot, very little between them. If you like one, you can quite easily go and back it. And if you don't, stay out.
Yeah, I've got to respect Holyfield. Performance was 29th of August 20. Rose Hill 1400. Here we're around week 1400. Produced a plus 1.7 up on the pace. That was just in a field of 8, and I think probably going to vie for the lead with a horse like Yardstick. But at $12 and $3.70 the place, I could entertain a little each way bet to try and kick off my day in race 2. Race 3, we move on to the Provincial Championships final. Great news, a scratch for Kim Wall, which is a real shame, but it opens up the field. Pandano 260, and then it's Crystal Breeze at 7, Jamara at 9, Animate at 9.50, Electric Girl 11, $12 for Loch Lamond, Prince Aurelius is 14, and then it's $19 the rest in a really big field, Hayden.
Yeah, the Chris Lees Cup, I think they refer to this race as. He's got half the field there. So good luck to the camp. Pandano, probably deserving favourite. Appears to have a slight edge over these. Not a great edge. Definitely last start, Newcastle, second best of the day, 1.2 lengths above IVR, was really strong late, loved its last 400, plus 2.8. Combined third section, was on a track with a bit of give out of the ground, go back into its historicals, 1,400 metres. It's got a plus 1.8 next to its name. That was on dry ground. Again, 1,400 metres. Newcastle is a runner with good straight line speed, gets the J-Mac on board, horse to beat, not playing though.
All right, and I'm not that interested in playing in race 3 either. These races are they're pretty tricky. Those big fields with provincial horses. Race 4 is the Group 2 Percy Sykes Stakes for 2-year-olds. Again, I don't think we see any slipper horses here. Maybe Nudge Marty, the $2.25 favourite, might have come through the slipper. Just flicking between different screens now. No, it didn't. It was a winner at Caulfield on the 3rd of April in the listed Redute's Choice. So I'm coming over from Melbourne. Jamea has form around Arcaded, 4 moves ahead, but we don't see the top line 2-year-olds here. But it's Nudge Marty at 225, Crystal Bound 340. Trefacia is 5, and then it's $15 a rest. So the punters have it a race in 3.
The punters have it a race in 3. I've got it a race in 1. Crystal Bound, jump lead win. If they it shows up a repeat from its performance at Moonee Valley, they won't know which way it's gone. Very impressive performance. Nice horse. A repeat would see it win. An elevation would see it be eased down on the line. The one who looks like the big leaper in the pack, real electric straight line speed horse too, is a horse called Trefacia, if I've got that pronunciation correct.
Yep.
Big electric late 400, last 400. Randwick on the day where that track did race like a bullet, 6.2 length. Above benchmark, last 200, screams of a horse with talent. But still, I was taken by the performance of Crystal Bound. They paid the late nomination fee. I think they're expecting the track to be wet. Once it's come up dry, they said, well, let's go up there and win $1 million. So it's the horse to beat, really taken by its performance at Moonee Valley. And wouldn't be surprised if it jumps favourite.
All right, that's a fair push there from Hayden for race 4, number 5, Crystal Bound. The race 5 is the first of our Group 1s, the Group 1 Australian Oaks for 3-year-old fillies. Great field here. Harmony Rose 340, Amaralina from New Zealand 460, Montefilia 5, Hungry Heart 5. It's racing 4 according to the punters here.
It is a racing 4. They feel like track races, these 2,400 metre fillies races. You'd be hoping they jump and walk. Hungry Heart, keep coming back to it. Don't think we've seen the best of her as yet. She's a horse with a plus 4.5 next to her name over a mile at Randwick. I was taken by her performance. I didn't think she was entitled to win last start. I think she had everything. She was completely disadvantaged, race shape. And I thought the leader was just there to beat it. I think she's the horse to beat. And I expect her to go awfully close to winning. I wasn't excited, as many are, about Montefilia's performance in the Derby. She loomed up on the fence. Do agree it was inferior ground up the inside. Her last 200 was good. It was solid. 20-length exertion through the mid-race. Backing up 7 days, 2,400, it's a mighty big task. Off that sort of squeeze with that sustained last 600, there is a chance of a flat line run off that. But she will love getting back to the dry ground. So I think we'll see she'll get her opportunity, and there's a big chance she'll get the distance. So if the others don't come to play, Hungry Heart in particular, if she doesn't come to play, then Montefilia is the obvious. Not really taken by any of the locals in and around her. And the other horse that I was slightly interested in was the Kiwi, who brings the right profile to be extremely dangerous in this race. So for me, it's Hungry Heart to win, to beat Montefilia, to beat Amaralina. And I'll be surprised if the winner doesn't come from those 3.
All right, and I had Montefilia on top. I thought the 20-length mid-race squeeze, she was just too far out of it off that slow tempo. I think that might bring her on a bit. I'm not as concerned as you about flatness, but because she is just she's only had the 3 runs this prep. I think she can run well again here, but Hungry Heart. We were real keen on Hungry Heart last start, and no knock from me. I love her as a horse. I think she, if she was to win here, it really creates a discussion on who the best 3-year-old this season has been, because she'll add another Group 1 to her record, and she's been pretty damn consistent at a good level. But that's a discussion for another day. But I've got Montefilia on top, and I think the $5 and $1.80 to place. It's probably a 1x4 play for me with her. Noting Hungry Heart's about the same odds. Race 6. This is a pretty good race for a Group 2, Hayden. Wild Ruler at the top. They're all got the same weights, but Wild Ruler's been in great form. Wild Ruler's $7. The favourite is obviously September Run at $3.20. Comes out of that race. The William Reid behind Masked Crusader. Isotope last start winner $3.60. Then we've got Wild Ruler 7 rocketing by $8.50. $10 for Prague. Dame Giselle, we probably haven't seen her best this prep. She's at 12. And then it's 19 the rest. But we did have a question on Facebook. Lachlan Chapman, your thoughts on barrier 1 for September run? Is that a concern?
Obviously not for the cat, but for Lachlan it might be. For me, it's not. Craig Williams on board, Mr. Waller, she'll get back to her natural position anyway. Craig will be looking to angle out top of the straight and have one straight line run at the leaders. So I don't get overly flustered about those things. If I see that the race and the race shape itself is there and it's suitable, then I'm happy to bet whether it's out of barrier 1 or barrier 24. So not something that I get overly concerned about. So Lachlan, if you like September run, I wouldn't let barrier 1 concern you. I've marked this a race in 2. There's a big part of Wild Rule of it. He seems to get stuck. He gets stuck at that 2 to 2.5 lengths above IVR benchmark level and can't get past it. He's a very, very good horse off moderate early speeds. He's got big race acceleration in him and he can sustain a last 400-metre run. I'm waiting for him to go to the 4s because that's where I believe he can get to. September run, obvious danger. The thing I like about September run is her last start, Moonee Valley. Again, big mid-race acceleration, 8-length acceleration through the mid-race, sustained big 6.1 length last 400 with a 1.9 length acceleration last 200. It was great to see her do that in a circle. Now she's got to do it in Sydney. She gets her opportunity here. Her best simply wins. It's just going to be a matter at the top of that straight with this rail in a position where it's going to favour those on speed leader stalker scenarios, whether she can chase him down. So if Wild Ruler goes 2.5, 3 from a forward stalking role, he'll be mighty hard to beat. So him on the each way go on top for me from September run. Isotope, nice horse. I'm not as excited about it as everyone else is. I want to see it go to a big number. It's just got that 1.5 style profile. It's got a favourability for wet tracks, or tracks with a little bit of give in them. It hasn't shown the pure need for speed as yet. So I was Wild Ruler slightly from September run. Prague's probably the most interesting run out of the remainder. Mark on great addition in the saddle there, and Isotope. So Wild Ruler, September run, Prague, Isotope. Good race.
I have the same two as you, and I'm interested. Would you prefer the Wild Ruler each way play and that sort of smaller win, bigger the place, rather than back both?
Yeah.
Talk us through that.
Rail in the 3 metre position. So if you get into lanes 4 and 5, you are advantaged. Lanes 4, 5, 6, that's going to be advantage. They'll naturally roll off 1 there anyway. So that'll put you into the first edition of the lanes at Randwick, which means from a front running leader stalker's perspective, you're hard to run down. He gets the right race in terms of those around him. He gets the right race shape. And if he can go, into that +2, +2.5 range, then he's got probably 8 of the 10 covered.
Yeah.
It's very difficult if he goes 2.5 from a leading on pace position. It's very hard for him to miss a place. Where September run will get back. She'll come with 1 run. If she could get herself wider than, say, 6 off the fence, which would put her into 10, 11, she's going to have to get that wide to make that, to get any track advantage. There's a big chance he could just be off and gone. If she does get the ideal race shape and she's within striking distance of him, she can definitely run him down. But still, on the other hand, it's going to be hard for him to miss a place. So, for me, if he's $2.50, anywhere between that 220, 250 the place, I'm more than happy to be playing there rather than trying to take $3 the win September run. And it's going to be very hard to get a good place price anywhere for her.
Yeah. I saw the race the same, and I just think his ability to enjoy a mid-race squeeze and then sustain it the last 400 as well makes him awfully hard to catch. So I'll be wild ruler with the 1x4 play as well. We're going to flick over now to race 7 on a 10-race card. It's the Group 1 Sydney Cup. Quite an interesting betting race, I think this is. Obviously, 3,200 metres. A number of these horses haven't seen that trip, but Realm of Flowers 550, Favourite Moon 6, She's Ideal 7, Southern France 750, Miami Bound 10, Spirit Ridge 10, Rondinella 12, The Chosen One 16, Celino 18, Good Idea, the Adelaide Cup winner 19, Chapada 23, Sound 26, 31 Sacramento, and 41 for Hush Rider. I'm just going to let the dog in because she's barking at the window, but you kick us off.
Let the dog in, let the cat out. You're at the zoo. Good race. Exciting race. Horse we've been waiting for all campaign. Miami Bound unfortunately gets back to dry ground, which is not ideal. She's an elite wet tracker, and I was just talking there while you were attending to the animals. The horse we've been waiting for all campaign to get to the 3,200 metres, Miami Bound.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for me that she gets back to most likely a G4 style racetrack, even though she does have a good figure to her name, second up this campaign, 1.3 lengths above IVR benchmark, Flemington 2,000 metres. She is capable dry, but she would have been an exceptional bet here on the wet. She's flying. Made me slightly turn away from her here. We may have missed the big price last start. I'd marked The Chosen One on top at 20 to 1.
Yeah.
I was taken by his performance second up, Rose Hill, with his benchmark performance there. It gave me the indication that he was forward enough condition-wise, and he was in the right zone. You follow his historical profiles, it's not odd for him to have a drop-off second or third up into a campaign, which he did at his most recent. And he also travelled the fastest he'd ever gone through the first section at his most recent. So that will top him off big time. He was exposed 8 to the 6, high pressure. He had the decline 6 to the 4, and he only maintained that decline late. There wasn't a significant late drop-off, and it was more a conditioning decline rather than an alarm bells. He can rebound and rebound hard. He goes anywhere near his +1.5 he ran in the Cup last year. Good night to the rest of these.
Yeah.
Like him, wouldn't be surprised to see him winning. Obviously, Miami Bound, I have to respect her. Think she is the horse to beat. She's got a grand final in her somewhere, and she does have that Group 1 mare's profile over a staying distance. So she's going to do it. It's not going to surprise me when she does. She's definitely hard in the race here. Favourite Moon, I was taken by his performance from Rose Hill in the latest. My concern with him is back to the dry ground. He's predominantly got a wet profile. There's nothing screaming that he wants a rock hard surface. Second up, he'd have to, he's probably only going to need to repeat his 2,400 metre profile to be somewhere around the mark here. My concern with him on the dry surface is I think a couple of these might have a superior turn of foot to him. Realm of Flowers is definitely a horse who's flying, as is Rondinella. Very, very good race. But I was The Chosen One on top from Miami Bound. And respect to others mentioned.
And you mentioned one right at the end there that I have on top, and that's Rondinella. Coming off a plus 1.8 last start behind Quick Thinker. And that, I think the 2,600 metres of that start is the furthest we've seen Rondinella get out to in trip. And for Rondinella to take that figure up to 2,600. I'm not sure what her PB is, Hayden, but that's a pretty damn good number out at 2,600 metres. Last prep, she got out to 2,400 metres. She ran second to Knight's Order in the Tats Cup on a soft 6. And it was a -2 performance, but she came off a minus 14 and minus 14.9 first section, pretty much a 16-length mid-race squeeze, and sustained it home. She ran the 6th quickest last 400 of the day over 400 metres. So obviously off a slow tempo, but I think she'll relish the step up in trip, and to come off that sort of 1.8 number last start tells me that she's flying. So I've got Rondinella on top as an each way play with the tab. She's $12 and $3.70. So you're getting nearly $4 a place for her to $4 for her to play. So I think she's a great each way bet. And I'm with you with the chosen one as well. I'm not sure how you can get $16 on a horse who ran third in the Caulfield Cup last year, beaten less than a length by Very Elegant and Anthony Van Dyke, and then went to a Melbourne Cup and ran fourth, as you said, plus 1.5 performance in the Melbourne Cup.
He is the Group 1 runner of the field.
He is, yeah. And you know, we don't care about weight at all. Obviously, he's the top weight, but he's carrying 56, and he's carried a lot more than that. Let me just have a look what he's carried in some races. Obviously, those handicaps, those Group 1 handicaps, he's carried 53.5 in the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup. But even if you go back to his Herbert Power win in 2019, that was a serious performance over 2,400 metres. I can't understand the odds for him. So I could entertain both Rondinella and the chosen one as each way plays, or just back them both to place, or have a little each way on both of them. I think you can have an entertaining race to watch. Race 8's the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. It's a big one. Very Elegant up against Adayab again. Very Elegant, $2.40 with the tab. Adayab, $3.10. Sir Dragon A, $6.50. Mugatoo, $7.50. Think It Over, $19. Mwanga, $19. And Dallasan, $34. The last two mentioned, Mwanga and Dallasan, both come out of the Doncaster last week over a mile. Thought Dallasan was a huge performance to run third to Cascadian. I think he had a little mid-race slowdown too, which didn't help his course. And Mwanga probably just wasn't really in the right place. But do they beat Very Elegant here?
Every time I say yes, the answer's no. Every time I find a way to fault her, she wins. I found the way to fault her again. I thought she was the bet of the year on a soft track. But her dry track numbers still just, even though she wins, she only produces the 2.5 to 3 range, which throws her right back in the pack. She's not a betting, she's definitely not a betting perspective, betting proposition for me. And then I go through the field and think, okay, who's going to beat you? Adayab, at his very, very best, would get the money. Again, not sure. There's a few alarm bells around him. I think the camp even come out during the week. You'll know more about this than me, but didn't they say if it wasn't so far to travel, he'd be on his way home?
I'm not sure I saw those comments, but I certainly saw that they're not overly excited about him on a firm track.
So that's every time we've heard those words, they're pretty much put in the bin scenarios, aren't they? Mugatoo, I'm convinced he's just an out-and-out dry wet tracker. So I'm not overly excited in him. And then I kept coming back to the Dragon. They're talking Japan Cups with the Dragon. I thought the riding was on the wall 2 starts back 2,000 metres.
Yeah, you did.
That he was back big time. He'd come out and decapitated him after that. He might be trending back in the direction required to give these a little bit of a scare. So while I respect her immensely, very elegant, I'm going to give the Dragon the opportunity here to knock her off. Not much between them. And I'm not overly excited about it. I'm not talking, I could entertain the Dragon as a betting proposition, more targeting him the place with the expectation that if he comes to play, it's going to be very hard to see him miss the top 2. And I might get $3 the place in that sort of scenario, knowing that she's the one I'm going to have to beat. Somehow she always finds a margin, and it's about a half head margin. She's as tough as nails. But I'm Sir Dragonate on top to beat number 7, Very Elegant, to beat number 8, Mwanga, who is the knockout chance here. Forgive his last start. He wasn't in the race in that mile race. He drew barrier 21. I think he was about 300 lengths off the leader. His last 200 in that race was electric. He was, just off the track and nowhere. He was in no man's land between the 6 and the 2, and he just zinged home late. Gives you the full impression that he's got more up the sleeve. And if he goes to the level where I think he can go to over 2,000 metres, he's the knockout job. So Dragon, Very Elegant, Mwanga. That's me.
All right, I'm not overcomplicating this. I've got Very Elegant on top. Talking about dry form, so probably got to go back to the Turnbull Stakes on the Good 3, 2,000 metres. She ran a plus 2.7, and there was a half-length slowdown, I think, between the 6 and the 4. So you can probably see her running a plus 3 there. And if I go back a bit further in her form, the Chipping Norton in last autumn, second to Tiakau Shark. You probably remember Tiakau Shark was a massive plus 5.3, Very Elegant second running plus 4.6. And, take into account that the Turnbull Stakes, she was only third up and she had eyes on a Melbourne Cup prep. This has been her target all along. I'm not too worried about the dry track. I think it puts a dent in Adayeb's chances. I'm not convinced yet that Sir Dragonate can return to that plus 5 performance in the Cox Plate. I think if Very Elegant goes plus 4, nothing beats her. So I'll be Very Elegant on top. Again, not trying to overcomplicate it there. Race 9 is the Queen of the Turf Stakes, one of our favourites, Hayden, Probabile, back at the track. Didn't handle the wet of the All-Star Mile at Moonee Valley. She's $2.50 here. Odium $6, Colette $7.50, Nimmerly $14, Graceful Glamour $15, Vangelic $15. Quantum Mechanics been in good form, $16, Vanagirl $17, Rich Hips $19. Then you've got Natoya $23, Starrell $26, All Saints Eve $31, Missy Bill $71.
This is the one you don't want to overcomplicate. If she shows up, it's game over.
Yep.
And I'm not one to go and look for other runners. I'm not, for those who have been watching the previews and that, they'll know that I never run a comparison, one horse versus the other, etc., in order to justify my thought process. I don't believe in that. And I think that only, A, complicates things, and B, looks for a way to polish up your own ego to justify what you're about to do. So this is one of those odd occasions where I went back and did have another look at that performance in the All-Star Mile. And I'm adamant that that track was just complete quicksand in that position where she was. and those around her, Sir Dragonet and co. Happy to rule a line completely through that run. She's had 35 days in between races. And if I go back to the performance at Caulfield, she looked like she was in for a monster campaign.
Yeah.
And she was going to the trend line once again of that +6 range. And she looked like she could also eclipse it. If she does that, she'll just make a complete mess of this. Take her on trust. Because I think if she was going average, Camp probably would have just packed up.
Yeah.
She's not the sort of horse where the Camp would run any risks with her. She, for mine, is the horse to beat from runner number 2, Colette, who does fall away dramatically. Her dry track numbers versus her wet track numbers. She's got one big run here over a mile on the dry. So I'm going to take that as my form reference to say that she can come here and scare the life out of Probabile. Then the race gets very compact, very even, and very confusing. Nimmerly is the X factor. And I'm 100% convinced that horse has got no ceiling right now. So it's the X factor in the race, and the one, if there's a blouser, it's that one. And the other horse who keeps sneaking around at big odds and keeps running really, really well is Vangelic. So they're the horses for mine. It's Probabile, clear on top, Colette. 2 horses you want to keep a very close eye on are Nimmerly and Vangelic. Good luck to the rest of them.
Yeah, Vangelic comes through that race behind Crone, doesn't she? And she produced Crone was a best of the day performance, and Vangelic beaten less than 2 lengths. So there might be one there, punters. If you're looking for a bit of value, Vangelic might be the one. But Probabile, it's very hard to knock her. I think I said before her first run this prep, even though there were doubts on her trial, or she had a jump out at Geelong and looked all over the place. She's bomb-proof. She can sprint off a slow tempo. She can endure a fast tempo. Her plus 3.4, 2 starts ago in the futurity, returns anywhere near that, she just wins. I think they were even considering the thought of running in the Doncaster last week, and thought, well, why would we do that when we can run a week later in the Group 1, $1 million, $580,000 in prize money. So for me, Probabile on top with Vangelic as the value play there. Last race is the Tab Sapphire Stakes, 1,200 metres, Group 2, 3-year-old and upwards, fillies and mares. It's a good little race, this. Tafane, last year's all-age stakes winner, and I wonder if she backs up in the Group 1 next week. She's at $12, perhaps needs the run. The the Kiwi horse on Triviere, for James McDonald, Jamie Richards, $4.40 favourite. Your Girl Seasons, last start winner, got us out of trouble in the last race a couple of weeks ago. She's $6. Wonderbar, $7. California Zimble, $8. And one of our other favourites, Fiesta, who we had a Fiesta in the spring. She's $8.50 here with Tafane at 12 and Fasika at 12.
Good race. Lovely little race to finish off the program. I let everyone down with, what's his name? Kingdom of War, or whatever his name is. Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
I let everybody down 2 weeks ago, but I think there might have been a few last week you might have picked up on Matchmaker, the horse who we've been beating the drums about to follow. He was the one, and he came to the party, ran right up to his performance from 2 starts back, and we had a quiet little dinner, which followed on with a couple of pina coladas after that, and he was definitely treated me to a night out, so I was quite happy with that. Then we go back again, and we're $8. We'll probably get $10 once again for the little wonder mare who draws the fence. K-Mac on board. It's going to be mighty hard to beat. She gets the race shape again. she draws just to sneak up along the fence and either stalk the lead speeder if they want to overdo it. She can sit 3 back the rail. We all know that Kerrin's got no issue whatsoever getting out when he's pocketed in a position like that. I think that they will toot the horn and she'll hit the front. And she'll be the one to beat. The one I'm terrified of and looks like it's ready to really rock and roll is Fiesta. If the rail was in the true, if the rail was in an alternative position which favoured those from back in the field or worse, or if you do see that they are running on, which is, they've got to play some games to get them to run on rail 3, she's going to be hammering home, this girl. She's back big time. She's got the best IVR numbers in the race. So for me, it's going to be a little 2-bet strategy with Seasons and Fiesta. Then the race is wide open with a length to a length and a half between everybody else. Entree very fits into that bracket. Can't knock, can't fault. Tefane, Respect. As generals, California Zimble and Co. But for me, it's my girls, Seasons and Fiesta, and hopefully there's a Fiesta after the race.
Yeah, for me, I've got Fiesta on top as well, and she's had 2 runs this prep. First up behind Volpine and Season, so comes through that similar form race. But just having a look, she was -8 through the first section, plus 3.5 in the mid, so that's a 12-length squeeze, and she finished with a plus 11 third section where she went best last 600, best last 400, best last 200 of the day. And that was on a day that Eduardo and Nature Strip ran. And obviously she was entitled to off that slow early speed, but geez, that's massive. And then you can excuse her performance in the Galaxy. I don't think she goes on the soft at all. They had to have a crack there, but soft isn't her go. Back onto a good track. I am 10 to win, 40 the place. Fiesta, Respect Seasons. You got us out of trouble the other day with her. Or I think we were having a good day anyway, but it was a lovely way to finish the card. We do have one question here on Facebook, Hayden, from Luke Buller. Likes to look for some value. I feel that Sweet Deal at incredible overs in the last of 21 might be a good play. I don't see much speed, and out of 5 might even sit outside lead or get the perfect trail, 1 back, 1 out. Even race without any standout, super each way for mine.
Well, don't let me talk you out. She's certainly got the talent to do it. And she does have IVR numbers at this distance range, which says she's more than capable. This campaign, she's leapt up. She only had the short break. She had 28-day freshen up, then she had a 105-day break. So she was reasonably forward condition-wise. Her last 3, she's been good early. She's been electric through the mid. The last 200's been slight concerns for her. Getting back to the 12 could be a positive. My only concerns with her, no, I don't have concerns with her. I've just got Seasons in an A1 position going 2.5 from a dangerous place, like from where similar to Wild Ruler. So, I can see the thought process, and he's trying to find a similar run line to me, which Sweet Deal is going to get that. And Glenn Boss certainly knows how to ride a winner. So not a horse I would talk anyone out of. She just doesn't meet the mare's profile that I'm looking for. There is a lot of truths in the sayings of a mare in form you want to follow. And the mares are horses that I do like to really, really track. And I'm not licking the own ice cream here, but I do see them quite well.
All right, James Allpress, pretty simple. He wants you to declare one. You got one you can declare?
Pick from the parade, probably.
All right, I'm just going to go over some of our better bets on the day, and you just give me your final word on them. Race 4, Crystal Bound, $3.40. You liked what you saw from that horse from Kieran Murray and David Eustace on debut.
Yep, love it. Think it's a very smart young horse. They got one tick. It's a tick from the parade. You get the tick from the parade. I think it'll jump favourite and win. All
right, that's race 4, number 5. The Australian Oaks. You've got Hungry Heart just from Montefilia. I've got Montefilia on top, but I don't think it's a standout by any chance. Race 6, we've got Wild Ruler each way at sort of the $7 and $2.20 the place over the top of September Run.
Yep, I'm happy there. I'm taking him on favourable race shape, and for those who like to get the chess pieces out and put together a map, I think you'll find he's going to have a very favourable map.
All right, I think race 7. I think I'm right in saying we can both back each way the Chosen One and Ron Danella at double figures and have a bit of fun there.
Yeah, if the Chosen One gets the cash there, you might see. I might have to do this video live from the Gold Coast next week.
The Queen Elizabeth, I've got Very Elegant on top. You're giving Sir Dragonet a chance to beat her.
I am giving the Dragon a chance to beat her. And the more I think about it, the more fearful I get of Mwanga.
Okay, and Probabile on top in the Queen of the Turf. Make sure you've got Vangelic in your quaddies, and we can finish the day with little bets on Fiesta and Seasons. Mate, great to chat. I think that's all from the punters on Facebook. Let's hope we can finish this, the championships, the second day with a few winners, and then next week it's the All-Age Stakes meeting.
I think we will. It's been a very enjoyable Sydney Carnival to date, and I think it might follow on tomorrow. We've been, our last month or so in Sydney, we've been all over it. And hopefully we found people a few winners. It'd be good to, now that the carnivals are starting to die down for a short period of time, it'd be good to hear some feedback from those who like to follow us each and every week on some guests that we can get you to chase down, potentially to have on the show, some people that they would like to hear from. The way I think about those sort of things, I like to go outside the square a little bit. I don't like to hear from the people that we hear from day in, day out. I like to go and find those who we don't hear a lot from and hear some different perspectives from them. So it'd be very good to get a few quality people on over the break.
All right, and have you got a tip for the punters in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix on Sunday?
Just don't worry about it. Just back Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton just wins everything.
Okay, easy done, mate. Good to chat.
I got the Patronus Tommy T-shirt on for a reason. Sir Lewis is my favourite sportsman on the planet. He's my idol, and he's a star. Go Pies.
Go Pies, mate. I'll see you next week.